Nick, thank you so much for joining me. This is Nick Lopez, founder of Lime Painting, an incredible brand. Thanks for taking the time to talk to me a little bit more about lime painting and everything from its genesis to its concept and getting it out there. I'd love to hear a little bit about you, if we could start that way, and how you thought of lime, your story.
Absolutely. Yeah, thanks for having me on. My gosh, my story starts in college. So originally from Denver, but went to school at Michigan State and went there to wrestle. They also had a great business school, and it was really the only school I applied to. Thankfully, I got in. I was a preferred walk-on, but ultimately a scholarship was a couple years out at least. And I had taken out a $500 credit card just to get to Michigan State, and maxed out a couple more credit cards in college. So when I received a $2,200 tuition bill, I thought I was packing it up and heading home. Ultimately ended up closing the chapter on wrestling and starting a painting company called Spartan College Painters. I did that for all 5 years during my undergrad. And yeah, year one was 2008, middle of the Great Recession. As Michigan was very much, or is, driven by the auto industry. And at that time, oh my gosh, Michigan was in really rough shape. So nonetheless, necessity was what took over. And, I found myself, being complimented by clients for simple things like showing up or doing a good job and answering my phone. And on the front end, I was hearing, "Hey, Nick, are you going to run off with my deposit? Are you going to charge me more when you start the job? Are you going to job hop?" And I'm like, what does job hop mean, right? And like, well, you'll start my job and then you'll go to another one and you'll come back. And I'm like, my gosh, yeah, no, I'm just going to show up and do what I said. And, I started getting in my business degree and learning about competitive advantage. And the light bulb just started going off that, wow, here I have been an 18, 19-year-old and clients are trusting me to work with them. And I'm competing with national, but mainly local painters. And they're giving me their business and then thanking me for very basic things. But I never really thought I would be a painter, right? That wasn't really why I was going to college. And, it was really just a side hustle in college and was a way for me to pay college tuition. But thankfully, I looked at, hey, the bigger the home, the bigger the, college bills it will help me pay. And that was my logic. So I start getting into my marketing degree and I'm learning about positioning. And that's where the opportunity became clear that, wow, I've been working on quote unquote these big homes and these clients want quality and they really struggle to find that. And when you look at a national provider, there are none. I'd found that out obviously after, doing some due diligence. And, I spoke to a mentor and he said, I shared with him everything I just told you. And he gave me a book and he said, "Nick, you need to read this book." It was E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. And that's where I learned about franchising and creating, a consistent and reliable service with a simple team model where it could be duplicated and where you could work on the business, not in the business. And so from that point forward, it was all about applying my business marketing sales degree into this high-end painting niche that I wanted to provide that value in other markets. It was clear how much I was providing in East Lansing, and I was doing it as a side hustle. I was really excited to see what I could do full time and in in a market full time. So yeah, I eventually moved home to Denver. That was 11 years ago, started Lime. And, those first 4 years were really just about proving out the unit economics, further differentiating our services, in breaking and stress testing the model, really leveling it up and preparing it to be franchised. And then I joined the International Franchise Association and started learning about franchising. One thing I appreciated about my undergrad was the success I had seen our first 4 years in Denver. I totally attributed that to my sales degree, my marketing degree, my business degree. Again, I was getting client feedback, painter feedback, and applying my degree. And so I was able to see it played out with a team that was built in Denver in a different market. And I wanted to take that approach in franchising as well, learn from folks that had done it, understand what are the best practices, and then surround myself with those advisors to, direct us in a path where we would be successful in franchising. And so did that, assembled that team, and that was over about a 2.5 year period where we really just worked on infrastructure and our initial legacy owners, and really, evaluating, okay, what are the bottlenecks in the business once we actually start franchising to our initial early adopters. And then we started scaling in 2020. Again, another interesting year, right? So the world is shutting down in March, and that was the year that we were going to expand. So we had 7 locations in August of 2020. And today, coming up Q1 here of 2024, we have 95 locations. It has certainly been a lot of fun. And, why I chose franchising as an expansion model, right? It was about giving that value to more clients in different markets. And there's different ways to go about doing that as an entrepreneur. But I loved this idea at the time, this idea of franchising. I was a gym rat, right? I wrestled at Michigan State, and I really loved the locker room culture. That was something that I really enjoyed, this whole process of working toward goals as a team, winning and losing, that journey of consistency and discipline, and the fun that's in that, the camaraderie. Franchising, when I learned about it in Michael Gerber's book, it was this whole idea of being in business with other business owners that I really loved. And so, here we are. I can tell you, Natalie, it's definitely what I wanted signing up for franchising. I just feel like every season, every year, it's crazy to think this is my 16th year, but I'm still falling in love with the business. And so that's my story. Thanks for letting me share it.
One of the things that was so mind-blowing about your story for me was that you were getting these compliments about simple things that should just be common sense, showing up on time, not like stealing the deposit. It's just crazy. And I think that is something, unfortunately, that we hear too often in home services. It's just very fragmented. You don't really know, the type of person. It's sometimes like a chuck in the truck type of model. That's why we've seen so much interest, I think, with private equity and investment groups in home services, because just coming in with a home, like with a process and a system, is going to put you eons ahead over anyone else. So
Absolutely. And the industry's really come a long way in the 16 years that I've been in the industry, specifically in technology, right? It used to be that, a contractor would tear off a yellow sheet of note paper and would write the price and hand it to you, and that was their proposal. And if they left and didn't do that, you'd be shocked if you actually got the proposal back. So, just getting a proposal is a big deal. And technology nowadays from an app, has really brought contractors along, sped them up a long ways. And even the scheduling functionalities, the invoicing functionalities. And so even the fragmented mom and pop space has come a long way, right? But it doesn't change the fact that there's a mentality of the Superman model where as a contractor, I wear all hats, I do all things from the painting to the invoicing to the customer service to the training and everything in between. That Superman model it breaks down. It's not scalable. And the great thing about home services, especially this past decade, is, it's been being standardized by franchising. And that's been really exciting to be, in the middle of. And what we're really excited about at Lime is as the home improvement industry is maturing, much like any other industry that matures over time and gets standardized. You can think about the restaurant industry where it used to be a bunch of diners and now it's very much standardized. And a part of that standardization, you get more maturity within the positioning of service providers in the market. You get more low cost, low price providers, more high price, higher quality providers. And that's what we're excited about at Lime. We are establishing that high price, high quality option and helping the home improvement, specifically the painting space, mature from a customer experience standpoint.
No, precisely. It's interesting how you had the franchising model, and the E-Myth is such an incredible book. It talks about the Superman thing that you were just referring to. It just brings me back to reading it. Another interesting point, if you'd like to talk about, is how you had that light bulb moment, that revelation where, okay, if I market to bigger homes, bigger projects, then that's going to equate to higher revenue, and how the Lime model really leans on that.
I always share the story of McDonald's, right? And because we can relate, we've been going there and many times since we were kids, and we go there with an expectation. It's going to be quick. It's not going to be expensive. We don't really expect quality per se. Yes, it's good, but that's not the gourmet meal that you would expect when you go to a steakhouse or a higher end restaurant. And so, yeah, the luxury focus and having an approach of, quality, it certainly makes a big difference from a customer standpoint.
Agreed. One thing I'm super proud of is that we brought you one of your top franchisees at least years ago, who came from a completely different background, medical industry, and you started seeing a shift of you getting more interested in taking on commercial projects. Can you discuss that a little bit and how you've evolved as a brand?
Absolutely. Yeah, the commercial space is pretty exciting when you think about, from a line painting perspective, we're not just doing residential, we're doing commercial as well. And when we started franchising, every market across the country is different. But commercially, there are similar types of accounts. And so that could be multifamily, that could be apartments, that could be more storefronts. You get my point, right? There are categories of work where it could also be exterior, it could be interior, maybe it's floor coatings, metal coatings, more industrial coatings. The markets across the United States vary from that perspective. So we built an infrastructure through technology where we can evaluate opportunities in a market. And then we also have internal support for our locations where we do pricing and proposal building. So from a commercial standpoint, one of the biggest lifts is doing the takeoffs, the blueprints, that work up front that's involved with, it's much more of a scope than just even a 10,000 square foot home, right? And so from a commercial perspective, there's a lift of doing the square footage measurements and then converting that to pricing and making sure that you're covering all of the scopes that need to be made up in that proposal. And so in our technology, we're able to source local opportunities, and in working with the owner in the local market, we're able to filter the types of accounts that come in. As I shared, there's lots of different opportunities. And so we will tailor local results, and then we can proactively submit those proposals to those commercial opportunities. And then our franchise partners can build those relationships. And a lot of times those initial projects lead to more, right? That commercial, that property management company or that contractor, this is just one of their projects. So we're able to get in on a publicly listed commercial account. We win the job, and then we're able to develop a partnership, which obviously leads to more value for both. And so that took some time, clearly, but over the years, my gosh, it's really become a strength and has taken on, as you would expect, a life of its own. Commercial's exciting, but with lots of infrastructure and support. We've gone from, probably doing 5-10% of commercial to, I'd say nationally we're, somewhere around 35%. Wow. In terms of total commercial accounts that we're doing. And, that also helps with just general seasonality. So, you obviously can't paint exteriors year round, but the great thing is we do interiors and exteriors, we do residential and commercial. But by having the ability to do commercial in volume in this manner, it really allows our owners to be proactive from a sales standpoint year round.
I cannot help but look at all of these different awards you've received right behind you on your background. You must be super proud of that. I didn't even realize that you had all these. I'm looking at Franchise Rockstar, Top Culture, Top Low Cost, Top Home Based, everything, all of these. What do you think is the reason that Lime has had this meteoric rise? And what are some of the differentiators that you think you have to receive all of this recognition? Like, what sets you apart?
Well, I would say the people. Most certainly. And you may say, oh, okay, Nick, that's easy to say, but it truly is the people. My gosh, look at all those awards, and that's a lot of people understanding an opportunity in the market and pursuing it, right? And that vision being big enough to include a lot of visions. And so, again, nationally, we are very excited, very humbled to be standardizing what it means to receive a high-end painting experience. If you own a luxury home, a top third home value home, in every market that's different, but you certainly want things a certain way. You bought a custom home that way, you went to a custom restaurant that way, you bought custom cars that way. And so having a custom contractor tailored for that, it's really been received market over market. And it's one thing back in 2020 when we're really just breaking out in the market, but having seen the value play out from every region of the country, that has been folks, franchise partners, entrepreneurs aligning with that vision and delivering it in their local market. And so when I say the people, I'm speaking to those folks that, and it's not just our franchise partners, it's our home office, right? We have just about 30 folks that help support our franchise partners. And the people at Lime are committed to defining and making our mark in history and helping level up an industry where, customers really, run into a lot of pain points that in many cases are just a head scratcher. So, yeah. And then I would also say that of those awards, as we're looking at them, I'm like, oh my gosh, these are from 2022. But we have the same awards in 23, and we just had a new one here in 24, which I'm really excited about. And that is Franchise Owner of the Year. So we had back-to-back 22, 23 Franchise Owner of the Year. And that's just a testament, again, of the people at Lime. These franchise partners are doing incredible things. The franchise owner here on this list is about to become a 10 location owner. And he started with just one. In fact, he started as an entry-level salesperson in one of our corporate stores. And again, just caught the vision, and it has provided a career for him. And now he's helping and has been providing careers for others around him, and is scaling beyond clearly just being an entry-level salesperson, where by the way, he used his own commission and paid the appropriate, invested everything to become an owner, and has continued to do so to currently be a 7-unit owner, and again, about to become a 10-unit owner. But you talk about big vision, my gosh, that is an owner who is an empire builder and has that mentality. And so, when you're a national company and you are represented by values like love, integrity, mission, and excellence, you can see how folks sign up and are fully empowered by our business platform and do incredible things within their skill sets and their career, but then start making that impact within their community. It's again, like I said earlier, it's something that, hey, I was certainly a confident high-end painting company owner, but have really appreciated becoming a confident franchisor, and the difference really being more and more of an appreciation for the amazing people that make Lime what it is.
Absolutely. One of the things as a consultant that I don't know if everyone does this, but I do this. I like to meet the franchisors, meet the founders, and really, you have to feel like you are going to trust that person to take your candidate. It's going to be a good fit culturally. One of the things that I like about you and just who you are as a person is integrity is so important. You can see just the way that you interact at a discovery day or anything else that you truly care about your franchisees. You want them to succeed. You want to support them in the best way possible. You've invested in the systems, in your headquarters, and putting the right people in place, people that are going to be there to help lead them. And I think that's what makes, it's not just dumb luck that you've received all these awards, because you do care and people can see that. And it's incredible to watch someone like you succeed like this. So kudos to you. Just like super proud to see you grow this, and all your success is well deserved. What is it that you're looking for? I know you said empire builder. Are there certain things, just not just maybe for Lime, but for as a franchisor for everyone across the board, certain qualities that make top franchisees that you think could apply to every industry?
Yeah, absolutely. My gosh, certainly sees the opportunity, right? In the positioning and the world-class service and the premium brand that we're building. But a team builder that is critical. Our business model is not, hey, come in and operate the business, and you have a job but you're an owner. Sure, we have owner operators, but our owner operators are joining Lime to learn how to become a business owner and to learn the business. And maybe just from an investment standpoint, day one, they're not building a team, right? And so that is every logical reason why an owner operator would step into being just that. But uh, those owner operators are becoming empire builders. And the alternative from an owner operator day one is a team builder day one, an empire builder day one. And clearly that requires skill sets of recruiting and training and coaching and developing a team while also wearing business hats like the data and the financials that allow you to be objective in how you're building your business. There's a lot that goes involved with that, but the great thing is that Lime is a simple business. We're painting homes, and so our academy teaches you everything you need to know about the services that we offer. Yeah, we may offer 40 services, but there's one or two solutions, and they've been standardized with our national suppliers. So you'll go through the academy, you'll learn the trade, you'll learn the widget, but at the end of the day, what we're doing is we're recruiting and developing folks to execute in our business model to deliver value in the market that is really lacking. And so that looks like consulting, which is essentially sales, but we're educating our clients on how their home or their property ultimately turns over from sun and water damage, right? What's the right way to restore it and code it when you have a luxury home? There's a lot more going on than just paint. There's a lot of surfaces from stucco to masonry to metal and everything else in between. And that is just our widget. Very differentiated, very niched. But you go through the academy and you get certified and learn that. And so a sales competency is huge. And clearly, a commitment to executing on the model. The Lime way works. We've been able to see that and really build infrastructure and support to double down on the aspects of the business that really work well. And we have mechanisms internally to get feedback to continue to innovate and be collaborative with our franchise partners. But yes, we want them to really double down on the model, follow the model because it works. Do a great job of finding like-minded folks for their vision, for their culture, developing them, and ultimately, being a great sales individual. The core of this business is sales and marketing. We outsource to very talented artisans. The types of accounts that we acquire and build a portfolio of, there's some of the best accounts in the painting market. Our artisans that we work with, they probably get 3 to 5 of those a year. We can give them 3 to 5 a month. And so they just focus on doing what they do well, and we're able to support them or the customer and the account and do everything from a customer service account management perspective. And again, that is because of the types of accounts that we're acquiring. And at the core of that, that's about being able to communicate the value that we provide to our clients and really the needs that they have beyond what they understand initially. So many customers think, oh my gosh, I need a fresh paint job. But when we go out, we're able to say, hey, look, that paint job that needs to be maintained, that's the result of sun and water damage, but you have a custom home. And that paint, that coating is on there. It was initially to protect it. And so it's not just the painted surfaces that need to be maintained. On your custom home, you also have metal railings, metal lighting, stucco siding, manufactured windows and doors, stamped concrete on your driveway back to your pool. My goodness, all of these surfaces are worth hundreds of thousands, definitely tens of thousands of dollars. And the coatings that we apply are a fraction of the cost of replacement. And we don't just take the approach of applying a coating, we're first going to restore it. That could mean doing the woodwork or doing the stucco repairs or the grout work on the brick or the stamped patio. We clearly can't just put a coating on a surface that doesn't have much integrity. So we're going to take the approach of painting, coatings, and surface restoration. So yeah, our candidates, my gosh, they become hair on fire for delivering that value. When you have a customer that meets our home value, they're in the top third. That means they buy a certain way. They care about quality. And when they have need, that's all that's required is the right demographic and need. And our franchise partners are passionate about providing the solution for that combination because there's a void there. And customers time and time again tell us, nobody takes this approach that you do. And thank you for educating me on my home. Thank you for telling me the right way to do it. Thanks for taking an approach of doing it the right way. And thanks for being really transparent and providing a very thorough proposal that backs up everything you're saying and keeps everybody on the same page. Again, our team is doing those proposals and pricing. So our locations are going out in the field. They're developing these recommendations. They're working with our team at home office. And just through a link, they're submitting a 5-minute video and they're getting a turnaround on a proposal within 48 hours. So my goodness, clearly, Natalie, you can tell I can nerd out on the business all day, but the business owners that we're looking for are very hair on fire for delivering this service, this need. It's definitely wanted. And so when you follow the Lime way, that is the blueprint for how to build and build a business that delivers value in your local market in this way.
So just to recap on what you said, so number 1 was seeing the vision, 2 was team builder, 3 was ability to execute, and then 4, consultative sales background or acumen, right? And then of course,
Absolutely.
loving it and wanting to be a solution-based provider to like fill that gap that is painting and surface restoration and the other 40 revenue streams, whatever they are. Okay, awesome. As far as what you would want people to know, I know we went through a lot about Lime, your story, 40 revenue streams, what makes a great candidate, demographic that you're looking for. Anything else that maybe I didn't ask that you'd want people to know about your model?
Absolutely. So I mentioned earlier, right? You don't have to come in and know painting and coatings and contracting. In fact, the sales folks that we're bringing on that are, entry-level sales folks, they have zero experience as well. So we have to be a business that teaches that.
So one of the things that I look at when I'm identifying what is a good franchise is, are people really replicating the model? Of course, the corporate locations are going to have a head start, but you have franchisees that are blowing your numbers, your original like corporate location numbers out of the water. And that I think is creating a model where you created the vision and people are executing and people are succeeding. They're like killing it, right? So it's not that you have that edge. It's like, this is the model and it works here, it works there, it works there. You're replicating those numbers across the board and people are succeeding with it.
Incredible watching our initial legacy owners now become, the president and vice president of our franchise advisory council. What the model has done in terms of just leveling up, it's been the result of our franchise partners and their teams really getting behind the model and doubling down on it. And frankly, just outperforming our corporate stores. And, that's been one humbling, on the competitive side. I'm like, God, my gosh, another one. So we've had a lot of firsts in terms of just growth on an individual basis, from a location perspective. And then, just what's the norm? We were talking earlier about the commercial component, right? We used to just think about, commercial one day. And our owners came in and, seeing the opportunity within the commercial space and what they've done, the ceilings they've broke, the horizons they've created. It's really been incredible. And like I said, quite humbling. And so we just keep racing to build support around, all these areas that, owners are shedding light on in terms of opportunity. But when you have 40 revenue streams and you do residential and you do commercial, um, it does provide an environment for, folks to come in and really get after it. So, I would just share that, it's been fun to see the model take on a life of its own. Leaders step into roles, folks get empowered and just catapult their careers. And, again, it's about having a vision that's big enough to, support everybody's vision. And that includes mine, my own, but mine is just one of many. And so my vision's been humbled by, owners coming in and just kicking my butt.
But it speaks to you as a founder, and not all brands are like this, but you are receptive to input from your franchisees. I think that's so important. A lot of people come from a corporate structure where there's so much bureaucracy. They may be in and seeing things that are just not going to work and they know it, but because the people that are making decisions are so far removed, they implement these policies and procedures that everyone at the like lower levels just grunts and moans, but they really can't say anything because their feedback would be completely ignored. You have such, you're just so open to taking that feedback. You understand that they're and you've been there on that level. You've built it from the ground up, from just painting for extra money, from like hustle to having the vision and turning it into a franchise. So that just speaks to you as a leader. It's just incredible. So I'm really pumped. I'm so like I love presenting Lime. I think it's such a genius concept, but at the end of the day, if you think about it simply, it's okay, the bigger jobs equal higher revenue, and the way you strategically market to certain zip codes, certain neighborhoods, commercial projects, it's just so smart. So smart to helping people reach their goals faster.
This year 16, it was the first time I thought of year 20. And I'm like, wow, 20 years doing something. I can actually see the light of 20 years. But, being my 16th season, I'm in the field, and not because I have to. In fact, our founding location, Denver, I mean, frankly, I could definitely sell it. I know both owners, North Colorado and South Colorado, would love Denver and would race to become the owner. But frankly, I just love the business. And the past couple years, we've had, I've had to be totally focused as a franchisor, building our departments and establishing our infrastructure. But now this year, it's been fun to be able to get back in the field in our corporate stores. And it was just not that long ago, just a couple of days ago, I was just saying, my gosh, I love what I do. And I genuinely, to my core, say that. And I'm like, why am I saying that so much as of late? And I'm like, I've been in the field as of late. And it's just our demographic, the service we offer, the joy that we bring. We have a saying at Lime: we work in beautiful places for beautiful people, with beautiful people. And I think that's just a great state of mind. And when you're doing a service, just a stand-up service for clients that appreciate that, there's so much pain there that they appreciate it. And the bar is so low, right? That back in college, I was like, I can sign up for that. I can compete with that. That's my competition. All right. I can get behind that. So I guess what I'm saying is that the business wooed me to it. Never thought I would be in the paint space. And here I am 16 years later, and, loving it more and more every day.
And how many territories, how many franchisees?
We have 95 territories, 35 franchise partners.
Wow, that's incredible. I think the biggest compliment is when someone is a franchisee and they're aggressively buying more territory. Like, you have one that's going to have 10 territories soon that came through your culture all the way from sales and worked their way up and sees the vision. So that definitely is like the highest compliment, right? Is
Oh my gosh, we had tens and tens of locations that were purchased last year from existing owners. We had so many owners expand, and just I just loved being able to take those calls and be able to congratulate owners on expanding and their families joining, and um, it's awesome. It's very humbling. It's
and you've
very
only been
humbling.
franchising for how many years? It hasn't been maybe
We
4, 5.
Yeah, we awarded our first territory in 2018.
Anything you could share? Last question that I have for you is vision. You said that you're looking at 20 years, right? And that just gave me the light bulb to where do you want to be in that 20-year mark?
I want to make history. I want to make history in the home improvement space and define the high end segment. So the industry I pointed to, the restaurant industry, it was standardized in the 70s, 80s, 90s. Again, that high end segment, that high price, high quality, it exists in every industry that's mature. The exciting thing is that the home improvement industry is currently maturing. And, we are pushing the envelope. I've been serving that clientele for 16 years. And there's a huge need there. And we're just very honored to be creating a consistent and reliable solution in the home improvement space. So, we're cutting our teeth in the painting space, but in 20 years from now, I would like to know that we've done a great job of helping provide that value and help this traditionally blue collar space, implement a lot more white collar sophistication and provide, really top notch, consistent solution for homeowners, not just in the paint space, but in all home improvement categories.
I love it. Just changing the world. Hashtag get limed. Thank you so much, Nick, for taking the time and carving that out of your day to talk about your brand. And you'll have to keep us posted on your growth. Excited to see this one take off even further.
Thank you. Appreciate it.